Smart and linebacker Jalen Walker and right guard Tate Ratledge from Georgia. As a reminder, the team locker room is also open at this time. We also have a breakout interview area near the locker room. Coach Smart will make an opening statement. We will then open the floor to questions. Coach?
Yeah, I want to open with a lot of credit to Notre Dame and their staff and their team. They played exactly like we expected them to play. Physical, tough, don't beat yourself. And they did that. They did those exact things, right? They got 2 turnovers, and we didn't, and they returned a kickoff for a touchdown. So we basically spotted them, probably 14 points off of that, and costed ourselves a possession in the red area when we fumbled down there. But, they did a really good job. They play really hard, physical, ran the football. So do we. Those two mirror each other. I think both defenses played well. And we turned the ball over, and they didn't. And they gave us problems in the pass game with the sack and the sack fumble. So give them a lot of credit. That takes nothing away from these men on the stage and the seniors that are part of this class. I mean, absolutely incredible. I just told them what they went through this year and what they played and how they played, the resiliency, the injuries that we've had, and to win an SEC championship, which I have so much respect for our conference, and to win some of the comeback games they won and never quit, even in this game, never quit. That's the attitude you got to have to get better as a football program. So we got a lot of guys moving on, a lot of guys hurt in that locker room because we didn't get the outcome we wanted. But that's part of life, and I give Notre Dame credit for how they played, and give our seniors and our leaders credit for what they've done for this program.
Thanks, Coach. Please raise your hand if you have a question. Right here in the front row.
Kirby, can you walk us through the final 33 seconds, the final minute of the first half, and going for it there, throwing the ball, and what happened?
Yeah, typically when you're down, you need every possession you can have. And we made a decision that we were going to be aggressive, and we were going to try to go 2-minute. That's what everything says you should do. You can't give up possessions when you're trailing. So we're down 6-3. We felt like we had a little quick game pass. Certainly not counting on getting beat that quick, that left tackle, and got a sack fumble, which gave them some momentum. But at the end of the day, we got a great red area defense. We should stop them, and we don't play passive here. So we play to be aggressive, and we're trying to go score.
Right here on the left side, front row.
If I could follow up on that question, how much did you take into account that the offense hadn't really been moving the ball, and obviously Gunner was, making his first start as you contemplating playing aggressively?
No, I don't think so. I think we did move the ball. We turned it over. So we had more yards than they did at the time, and we had more passing yards than they did at the time. So I don't see it as just go in the shell. We got an opportunity. We got timeouts. We got an opportunity to go score. We work 2-minute every week, and we stay aggressive with it. I mean, we got a really good pass pro team, and we didn't pick him up on that play. He made a great rush, and he got a sack fumble. But I don't question that call because I really agree with the decision to be aggressive and try to go score.
We'll stay on the left side.
Kirby, the opening second half kick return for a touchdown, what happened there, and how much do you feel like that influenced the way the rest of the game played out?
Well, I don't think it affected us because we bounced right back. It spotted them an extra touchdown. It made it a harder comeback. But, we had an unblocked player that missed a tackle, and usually when that happens, you give the other team credit, but it's not a mistake or anything. We just missed a tackle. And when you don't play for a while, sometimes you miss tackles. We had leverage on the ball, and we had somebody that couldn't get him on the ground, and that's what football is. It's fundamentals and tackling. If we tackle him there, then we got a chance to stop him. But obviously, it played momentum, a huge momentum swing for them, but our guys didn't shy away.
Right side, front row.
Yeah, Coach, the 4th and 1 late in the football game, they run the punt team off. Was there a thought to call a timeout there? I know you guys are down. Yeah,
didn't want to because they were going. That's what they wanted. They wanted us to burn a timeout there and try to do it, and then we subbed. So it's really unfortunate because I've been told by our head of officials in the SEC that you can't do that. You can't run 11 on 11 off. We did it in 2017 against Tennessee. We've carried that. We practiced that and repped that because teams try to do it, and we were told by officials you could not do that. And so we were trying to say you couldn't do it. We got our defense out there. We were fine. I mean, I would have gone for it if I was them. So I don't think they were planning on going for it. They were going to hard count us, and we prepare for that. We do it every week, and we jumped off sides, But we also were told you couldn't do that in our league.
Go to the right side.
Right here, Coach. Obviously, very defensive game. Notre Dame only had 90 yards passing. Have you ever kind of remember a game like this where the opposition had 90 yards passing and still somehow managed to get the win?
Yeah, when you have 2 turnovers and a kickoff return for a touchdown, that's what happens. I mean, I have been part of those games, been part of really good defenses, and they stop people, and we weren't able to get a lot going. And the turnovers are the difference in the game, guys. It's not an exact science. I mean, you should know when you turn it over twice and they return a kickoff for a touchdown, you're not going to have a lot of success.
Okay, we'll stay on the right side.
Kirby, you had a long completion down to Arian Smith, and you get a sideline warning. I mean, sideline interference there. The ball comes back. Walk us through what happened there. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, very unfortunate. We had I said a coach, but I think it was a player, what I've been told, in the white. You know, and the white is reserved for the officials. That's a safety concern. And most of the time they'll grant you a warning on that. But it was not a situation where it cost us 15 yards. We still had 1st and 10 and didn't take advantage of it. But again, I call those things undisciplined, self-imposed wounds that you lose momentum on. So it's just something you can't have happen.
Okay, we'll go to the left side.
Kirby, we've discussed a couple of 4th down plays, special teams plays. I'm curious, how much do you think Notre Dame's success is built on the fact that they challenge sort of every play and are really willing to do lots of different things to sort of get the opponent off balance?
I think everybody's good football team does that. I don't think that's a Notre Dame trait, I mean, every team we play in our league, they're going to try to create a competitive advantage. We knew they were really aggressive on special teams with what they do. They come after kicks. I mean, they had 2 roughing the kickers that were running into the kicker. That's a subjective call, right? So that's a decision he has to make as to what it is. Those could be 1st downs. But there's nothing different they do we prepare for it. You try to out-execute people. We had the same situation with them.
Go to the right side, second row.
Kirby, you mentioned that you were told previously in a different game you can't run 11 on, 11 off. I saw you trying to talk to the officials. Did they ever come over and talk to you, the head official or anything like that?
Never gave me a real clear answer. Never gave me a real clear answer.
My real question was about Gunnar Stockton, first start. Your thoughts?
Gunnar did some good things. Anytime you don't have pass pro, it's tough. And he had some tough moments out there when it's your backside and you can't see it coming. That's tough. I thought he tucked it down and ran. He got us out of a couple sacks with his feet and legs, threw the ball away, did some good things there. But obviously it wasn't enough with the 2 turnovers. And we got to be better for sure.
All right, left side, second row.
Kirby, you had mentioned the missed tackle on the kickoff and said about hadn't tackled in a while, and you talked before the game about the layoff. I'm curious how much you felt it was a factor.
I really didn't. I thought we tackled well as a defense, better than I expected. We built a wall on the run game. They had some success with quarterback run late and got some things out as we started to take more chances. But I thought our guys were in good shape, good condition. I wouldn't change anything we did leading up to it. I mean, I thought that our preparation was good. We got to run extra yesterday. I was really pleased with that. All the players felt confident about that. I did not think we had a conditioning issue, and I did not think it was a tackling issue. We did miss one on kickoff, but that was an offensive player. He doesn't tackle as much as anybody because he plays on offense.
Okay, we'll stay on the left side in the middle.
Jalen, your first year, you guys win a national championship. Last year, you guys get left out of the playoff. You talked about it earlier in the week, saying you felt slighted that you weren't there. Now you fall here in the quarterfinals. How does this feeling compare to that one of last year?
Yeah, it hurts. Last year, of course, we didn't have our appearance in the college football playoff, but we did have the appearance in the Orange Bowl, and we ended it off the right way against Florida State. And unfortunately, we didn't end it off the right way this year. I just know that we played and gave it all. Offense and defense gave our all. So I wouldn't trade this moment for anything at all. It was just a great, hard-fought battle. All respect to Notre Dame. Physical offense, hard-fought offense, well coached, and they just did what they needed to do.
Please raise your hand if you have a question. Go to the right side, third row.
Tate, you look kind of beat up there. Talk to us about how you feel right now.
It just hurt. I mean, a lot of emotions after that kind of loss and this kind of situation. So, I mean, of course, we'd rather go the other way, but just a lot of emotions going through the head right now.
We'll go to the right side.
Tate, just to follow up on that, how were you guys able to kind of play after what happened yesterday and kind of focus on ball?
I mean, this team's got one goal, and it's all the same goal, and that was to win a national championship, and it started here. And just knowing that we have one goal altogether is how we ended up getting through that and showing up to play today.
Go to the right side in the back.
Apologies if this has been asked. It probably has. Any thoughts on all four teams that had byes losing in the first round? Do you think that played a factor at all?
What played a factor? The fact that
The fact that they had a game last week versus we had 3 weeks without playing football, or at least playing a game.
I don't know. I mean, I look at what Vegas says, and it went kind of with what Vegas said. You know what I mean? Like, at least in those 2 games, I guess ours was I don't know what it was. It was close, but you know, 2 of those teams were better than the other teams, to be honest with you. You know, and that is what it is. That's more about the seeding process and where it is. But I'm not here to complain about anything. You know, given the opportunity, Notre Dame lost probably their best defensive player. So I don't know how that's an advantage.
We'll go to the right side.
Coach Smart, this one's for you. Same thing, I apologize if this has been asked already, but given how hyper-scheduled football programs are at this level, you know, how did you approach the uncertainty yesterday of figuring out, you know, when you're going to play, how you deal with practice in that kind of 24-hour waiting period?
Same as we do everything. We got a little group, we huddled up, we FaceTimed, we made a decision on what we would do. We brought the players down and met with them and said, this is the plan moving forward. We put it up there on the screen, and they said, let's go. Let's put the ball down and get ready to go play. That's what our guys do. We change a lot around our place. So when change happens, it does not, you know, affect people. What you can't measure is the families of the Notre Dame players and the Georgia players that are, you're concerned about your family because they're in New Orleans and you don't know where they are. And I don't think you can put a quantified measure of concern for both teams, their families. All of our players were on the phone checking on their family, and that's the biggest concern.
And we have just a few minutes left. Please raise your hand if you have a question.
Kirby, you've had a number of games this year where you haven't scored a lot of points. Any thoughts about your offensive identity, and what do you attribute that to?
Well, I attribute to, number one, some really good defenses we played. I mean, that one was a really good defense. We have played some really good defenses. We've had a rotating a lineup with guys that have rolled in and out, and you know, we haven't created the same thing on defense we've done in the past. If you go to years past defense, we created more turnovers, better third downs to get the ball back. There's a lot of things we can do better to help our offense, but we certainly have to play better and do better. A lot of that has to do with health and the schedule we play, and having some playmakers that can make some plays too.
You talked about the uncertainty of yesterday and kind of the concern. I'm curious, was there any carryover to today? Once you all started playing, did it feel like a normal game?
Oh, guys, I'm not desensitizing what happened, okay? That was a very traumatic event. But this team was focused and ready to go play. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about the tragedy affecting our team. Notre Dame played well. We didn't play great, but when we turned the ball over twice and have a kickoff return, that's what I attribute the loss to, not to the tragedy or what happened. And that's not any disrespect to the community of New Orleans or the people with the tragic losses.
All right, we have time for one more question coming from the right side.
Coach, I thought Smile Munden had a really good game. You know, he's a guy that's been with your program for 4 years, Georgia native. You know, in this era with the transfer portal, that's kind of a rare thing. How much of an impact has he had on your program?
Yeah, he's an incredible kid. I mean, he had a really bad injury, guys, and then he had a really bad injury on top of his fixed injury. So, like, I got so much respect for him. He could have shut it down, not played this year. He sat out for 3 or 4 games to let it heal, and then he came back with and played so good down the stretch. And I'm so happy for him because he's got to go into the NFL process with a pretty significant injury that he's had, and he's played with good tape. So somebody's going to get a really good football player out of Smile.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, gentlemen.
I got one thing I want to say about these 2 guys before we break. You know, I don't know who picked these guys to come, but they would have been the guys I picked because when we do our captains, and rarely have I ever seen this where we did our captains and two guys got more votes than anybody we've ever had, okay, a combination of an offensive player and a defensive player. Well, that's picked by the 130 players on the team. Okay, so they picked these two guys at about a 95% rate, meaning out of the 130, 95 guys put these two guys in their combination. So what they did with this team in the toughest year of at least my tenure, easily the toughest year, they dominated the room, they controlled the room, they led the room through hard games and situations. There were some hard games and situations. I'll never forget this guy against Georgia Tech, chasing everybody down, telling them to stay in the game. Hope's still alive. This guy doing the coin toss and saying we're about to win this game in overtime. And I know today will be written about, and that's fine. But these two guys right here are as special as they come. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Who we have?
Marcus Freeman.
Yep. She's kind of a given.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Riley Linneman.
You're wrong. And Xavier Watts. Pot him down. Pot him down.
We are now joined by Coach Marcus Freeman and quarterback Riley Leonard and safety Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. As a reminder, the team locker room is also open at this time. Coach Freeman will make an opening statement, and then we'll open up the floor for questions. Coach Freeman?
You know, I think I said this after the game, but I'm so proud of this program, the team, you know, for the work they put into obtaining the result that we got tonight. I remind them the last 10 days as we prepared, like this will be a 60-plus minute fight. Georgia's been down in 9 games this year, and they find a way to come back and win. And so they had that mentality. Our coaches called the game aggressive. Our players executed, put everything on the line for this university and this football team. And I'm really proud of them, proud of the way they handled, you know, the events of the last 24 hours. And I want to make sure, again, send our condolences on behalf of our university and our football program to everyone that was affected by the tragedy. And, you know, they had to be able to still get ready for this game with the natural emotions that come into each individual that happened after the tragedy. And so I'm proud of the way they prepared. They stayed steady, and they went out and they did a great job. And so with that, we'll open up for questions.
Thanks. Please raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start in the front row on the right side.
Yeah, Marcus, you just alluded to the last 24 hours. I'm just curious, in your experience, how extraordinary was the experience and the swing of emotions from maybe the mood of your team yesterday, how you'll address that, to getting ready to play this big game today?
Yeah. You know, yesterday morning we woke up and we had heard there was some type of incident. I don't think we all knew the details, but we were getting ready to play a game. And by the time we had a break and we had lunch, we found out that the game was postponed. And then we found out more details. And I think once you found out more details about the tragedy, the emotions took over each individual differently. But they handled it spectacularly, and they prepared We spent some time together, and I think that's what you do in tough moments. You want to spend time with family, and that's what we are. But they found a way to get prepared for this opportunity and refocus. And again, it's unprecedented. Life, I told him this morning, there's things in life that are unpredictable, and the ability to handle those unpredictable things determine the success. And they handled this incident, this change, but they handle everything that's thrown at them in an unbelievable way.
Well, ask you please identify yourself. Stand in the front row.
Rod Walker from the Times-Picayune here in New Orleans. Marcus, can you and James Franklin are kind of making history here. Can you kind of just put in perspective what it means to you to be, one of two black coaches in this playoffs?
Yeah, it's again, you're very grateful. It's a reminder that you are a representation for many others, and many of our players that look the same way I do. That your color shouldn't matter, right? And that the evidence of your work should. But it takes everybody, and that's what I continue to remind myself. When people will try to point the finger at you, it's a great reminder of you're not in this position without everybody, without all these guys. And that's why I told them in the locker room I couldn't get off that stage fast enough, because everybody couldn't be up there. It's about the team. It's about everybody that puts everything they have into making sure that we can achieve that success. And so it's a great honor. It's a privilege. But again, as the head coach of this place, I understand we're not in this position unless everybody in this program gets their job done.
We'll go to the left side in the very back.
Coach Andrew Greenstein at Louisiana Radio Network. All four teams that played in the first round ended up advancing to the semifinals. I know you can only speak for yourself, but do you believe that having played on December 20th gave you a competitive advantage over a team that had not played since December 7th?
No, I don't. I think whatever circumstances you're given, you make the most of them. And if we would have had a first round bye, I would have been the first one to say, "Hey, this is great for us." We didn't. It's great for us. We are always a glass half full group, and whatever circumstance are thrown at us, we're going to take advantage of it and prepare and maximize the opportunity ahead of us. And so that's what they did. The first game had nothing to do with this game. It was the preparation that they put into this week in this game and the performance that they put on. But I don't believe in my heart the first game had anything to do with this one. It was about the preparation they did after the first game.
We'll go to the right side.
Matt Baker with The Athletic. For either of the players, Coach Freeman talked about how hard it was for you guys to be able to refocus after yesterday. So as players, how were you able to refocus?
Obviously the events that occurred were very challenging, and I just want everybody to know that the Notre Dame family, every single person in our locker room is praying for those families that are out there. I also want to thank the New Orleans Police Department for responding the way they did and creating a safe environment for us to play today so quickly after the events. But as a player and as a Notre Dame player, you recruit the right people for a reason. And I think adding another day is just helping our superpower out. We say our superpowers all the time. Our preparation and the character in our locker room, those are two intangible things that we have that we utilize. So to have an extra day, after we got done praying for all the families, I hit up my quarterback coach and said, all right, can we watch some film tonight? Like I watched a whole, I got 4 or 5 more hours of film study. We had another day of walkthrough. That's our superpowers, our preparation, and I think it definitely paid off today.
I'll go to the left side.
Coach Freeman, Jack Sobel with Blue and Gold Illustrated. You mentioned the coaches calling the game aggressively, like the 4th down call towards the end, deep in your own territory. Can you kind of explain the logic behind that one? And then with the aggressiveness as a whole, like how did that help you win tonight, and how did that kind of help you get here to this point?
Yeah, it's Jack, it's a mentality. That situation that happened in the 4th quarter was something we practiced, and I think the performance is a reflection of that. We had a lot of confidence in the ability to be able to do that, and we had a plan. And that's the aggressiveness in terms of our preparation that I want our program to have, and again, out there when it matters the most. And so that's got to be one of our edges, right, is that we are going to be an aggressive group and not fear making mistakes, not fear, hey, it didn't go your way. We went for it on 4th and 1. We didn't execute. Okay, here we go, defense, and they got to stop. And so that's how I want this group to attack our preparation and attack performance when we have the opportunity.
Real quick, he's being humble. That was completely his play, and we were going to do it a different way like 2 days ago. And then he flipped it, and we executed it that way, and it worked.
It's our
so
play.
He's being humble
Our play.
all throughout the year. All right, yeah, you know this guy. But I'll say it for him. Great call, great execution.
All right. We'll go to the right side.
To ask you about the defense, particularly in the second half. Georgia was 0 for 5 on 3rd down, 0 for 3 on 4th down, and that's pretty dominant performance for one of the teams that has been one of the most physical in the country in the last few years. So, why were you able to have such success in the defense, and, what stood out to you?
Well, we had 3 keys to victory on defense, and number 1 was to stop the run. And we didn't believe that we could lose this game by passing yards, but we could lose if we don't stop the run, and the defense did an amazing job at stopping the run, and that put them in some difficult 3rd down situations. And then another key to victory was takeaways, and the defense got 2 takeaways, a couple of turnover on downs, which were huge. They were relentless. The one drive, I wasn't too concerned because a couple of their big plays were uncharacteristic defensive mistakes. It was, we didn't get a call, this guy didn't get the check, and that doesn't happen to this group often. So I said, okay, we're good. Get it fixed. Go back out there. When they get the next opportunity, it'll be fine. And they responded in a great way.
We'll go to the left side, the front row.
It's for the guys. Vince D'Addario, Irish Breakdown. What does it say for you guys when you've got a coach that's willing to go for it on 4th down at your own 18-yard line? Like, what kind of confidence does that give you guys as players to know that he's got the confidence in you guys to do that?
Yeah, I mean, just having a coach and a coaching staff that, like you said, that aggressive mindset kind of just gives us the confidence that, all right, these guys are all in. We need to be all in on the play call too. So, when they go out there and we need to go on 4th down and they want to be aggressive, you need to go all in, make sure you do your job and get it done. So, I mean, it's just so refreshing to have coaches like that.
Okay, we'll go to the right side.
Dylan Zinn from the Journal-Gazette in Fort Wayne. Riley, this one's for you. Mike Denbrock said this week there was going to be a physical price to pay to win this game, and you said something similar. Just how did you feel that your team paid that price, and especially that run where you kind of fell end over end at the end there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody keeps telling me stop doing that, and then I did it, and it worked out today. So, and plus we're in the playoffs, so it's like, all right, put your body on the line. But pretty much, that's my mindset going into every game. Like, everybody else is going to put their body on the line. I'm going to do it right there with them. It was going to be a physical matchup. Our number 1 key to victory was to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and that's exactly what we did. We knew if we could, establish ourselves up front, we were going to have a chance at this thing. And, they're a very physical group. They brought a lot of pressure today, but I think we handled it pretty well. And, stay behind the chains early in the game, then kind of figured it out a little bit. I was struggling in the passing game, but shoot, that opens up the run game, and we were able to utilize our abilities and execute when it mattered.
Go to the right side, second row.
Coach Matt Miguez with ESPN Southwest Louisiana. Points were at a premium early on in the game, and then in 54 seconds, your team scored 20 points. Talked about that swing, and then your message at halftime to kind of keep your foot on the gas and keep finding the way to score those points.
Yeah, it was a heavyweight fight. The entire game was, but that first half, it was 3-3. First of all, Mitch Jeter did an amazing job today with field goals, his confidence. He had a great week of prep. And then it becomes 6-3 us. And the forced fumble right before half, and then our offense being aggressive and opportunistic and capitalizing off of that as we go into half was huge. And what we didn't want to do, I think it was a 10-point lead at half, I didn't want to survive. And I think that's the natural tendency in a big game. You're up 10 versus a really good team to say, let's survive. No, let's be aggressive. Now, I didn't know we were going to come out of the locker room and score a kickoff return touchdown, but that helped. And again, that middle eight is something we often talk about, and the ability to close the half in that way and to start the half. The second half with a kickoff return touchdown was huge for the outcome of the game.
We'll go to the left side, front row.
Yeah, Nick Douglas here. This is a question for Xavier and for Coach. In a game where, points came at a premium, what does it say to hold a top team, specifically an SEC team, to 10 points through your defensive and through your special teams efforts?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it speaks, to our defense as a whole. We go out there, we want to make sure we don't give up points, but some things happen. Like you said, we kind of break down the defense, giving up points. We don't want to let that happen. But like you said, just holding a team like that, they have some talented players. So holding a team like that to 10 points, low amount, is pretty good for our sakes. Obviously, you don't want to give up any, but just really proud of the performance we put up, and obviously complimentary football with special teams. J2 taking that kickoff out of halftime was really awesome. Just a good momentum swing, and it gives everybody juice. So.
Yeah, I love the way this group responds. There was a couple big plays that Georgia made. They're a really good team and a good offense. And this group just responds, and we always say reload. Like, this play is the only thing that matters. That's the only thing consistent in a game, is that this play is the only thing that matters. And what you see is, if somebody gives up the big play, they're able to reload and get their minds right for this play. And that was a reflection of the red zone defense, the big fourth down stops. It's a great group. They got great leadership, great players, and they're doing a heck of a job.
We'll stay on the left side in the back.
Hey, Coach, back here, Jared Paul Joseph for WGNO here in New Orleans. Considering everything that did happen in the last day or so, you have two players on your defense, Jaden Osbury and Jordan Clark, Louisiana guys, and one has a pass deflection, one has a fumble recovery. What do you think it says about them and their ability to be able to still come out and make plays considering something happening in their home state?
Yeah, they were extremely excited to come home and perform. And, there was a time yesterday evening that I wanted our players to spend some time with their families that were here. Being a parent myself, in times of tragedy, you want to be around your children. And, I gave the players from about 6 to 9 last night a chance to just go be with your family if they're in town. And I think that helped the parents as much as it helped the players to be around each other and to help them reset and get their mind into a place that it needed to be for today. But those two guys have been brilliant all year, and they did a good job in their hometown.
We go to the right side.
How you doing, Coach? I'm Chase Gisper with the Daily Star here in Hammond, Louisiana. I thought this was a true team win today, all three phases. Offense making plays when you needed them, defense came up big, and then special teams, 3 for 3 on field goals, then obviously the kickoff return. How satisfying is it for you as the coach when you see all three phases really just clicking on all cylinders?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it takes to win versus Georgia in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. Like, it's going to take that. It's not going to be 1 or 2 phases. If we expect to continue to move forward in the college football playoffs, it's going to take all 3 phases. And we feel strongly about all 3 phases. But that's what it's going to take. And it was a great performance today. And now we got to get some things cleaned up, find a way to get better in this week of practice. And then we got another opportunity to go out there and perform in all 3 phases here on January 9th, I think, here at the Orange Bowl.
Stay on the right side in the back.
WSBT. I know you're going to turn the page quickly on this, but there are a lot of Notre Dame fans that have been looking forward to a win of this magnitude for a very long time. I'm curious if you sense that when you talk to fans, just how big of a game this is for Notre Dame as a program, and then just personally, how much pride do you take in what you guys have been able to do thus far this year?
Pete, the passion that Notre Dame fans have for this place and this football program is tremendous, and that's why a lot of us are here. We want to be at a place that has high expectations, that their fans are passionate about it, the administration and everybody's aligned in terms of putting all their efforts into helping this place succeed. And so it's an honor, and we want it as bad as our fans want it. But what you want doesn't matter. It's what you're willing to do. And that's what we got to continue to focus on, the work that it takes to achieve that outcome that we all want so badly. And so, we're going to get back to work, me and Pete. We're going to get on this plane. Let's watch it and find ways to improve. And, look at the schedule. I might give them tomorrow off maybe, give them a chance to reset. But we got to start game planning for a tough opponent. I saw a little bit of the Penn State game, and listen, it's going to be a great challenge for us. But I'm excited for it.
Go on the left side in the back.
Hey, Marcus. John Sokoloff with WGNO here in New Orleans. What does it mean to you to be able to make history here in New Orleans by winning college football playoff quarterfinal game, being one of the first teams to ever do it in the sports history? What does it mean to you to be able to do that here in New Orleans?
It's an honor. This isn't about me, and I try to make sure that's clear. I'm blessed to be in a position to be the leader of this program, but I am blessed to be around some of the greatest individuals that you could ask for. And these individuals all commit to this place no matter what their role is. And they give everything they can to seeing us have that success. And I'm a part of it. Yes, I'm the leader at times. Yes, I'm the leader. But I'm a part of a big group that we all have to put the work in. And so I hope every person in this program feels a part of that, the record of wins and whatever there is. But I just love being on the journey with these guys. I love motivating them. I love pushing them. I love challenging them in different ways because they just continue to respond in any way that you challenge them. But it's an honor and a privilege and a lot of fun to be on this journey together.
We have time for one final question. We'll go to the left side.
Marcus and Riley, since RJ's been your teammate for a long time, after RJ might not have had the regular season that he wanted, what does it mean to you guys, and what does it say about him to see him make a play of that magnitude that changes the game?
Yeah, to speak on RJ a little bit, a lot of people don't understand how good of a person he is and how smart he is and how much of a hard worker he is because he's a mellow guy. He's not going to say much. But if you're ever in the facility, 5 hours post-practice, he's going to be somewhere doing something to get better. I mean, the consistency amongst this guy is insane, and I've been seeing it for 4 years now in my college career, and I'm grateful that he was able to, come with me to this place. But this is a very mature guy we're talking about, and somebody who's not going to say a word whether things are going good or bad. He's going to put his head down and work, and that's kind of the MO of our season. I heard a quote last week, Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you can't do something, you're right. And RJ believed in himself all season, and it's finally starting to come pay off for him.
Yeah, Riley said it perfectly. These guys don't always control the amount of plays they get. Right? Those are determined by your coaching staff in terms of what they need out of your role for this game. And RJ's a guy that no matter what the role is that's determined for him, he puts everything into it. And, when you have that mindset and you have that work ethic, good things like what happened today happen to you, and if you're sitting here and complaining about why you're not playing more than the next guy, then you're not putting everything into making the most out of your opportunity. RJ Oben is a guy that makes the most out of every opportunity he gets.
And that concludes the Notre Dame press conference. Thanks, Coach.